four-way test, and anything else you want to do.
You would bow your heads with me, please. Father, as the event of the days continue to unfold, we seek your clarity and your peace. We know you are with us and for us as we gather together. Scripture reminds us the more we seek you, the more we will find you. Lead our surrendered hearts to the path of your peace today. Come fully into our situation, both as a group and individually, and sort out the muddled feelings and distorted thoughts that plague us. Cover us with a blanket of honesty and patience that is not of this world. In Christ's name we pray. All right, stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we pass, things we think, say, and do.
Is the truth, is fair to all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, Dale Hopkins. Now I'm going to call on Dale Harrell for the Sergeant at Arms report.
You can Google that.
The next time, Dale, I'll wait till you get your breakfast.
Well, we have one visiting Rotarian, Abby Donnelly, President Rotary. We have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Forty-seven members. Very good. Thank you, Dale. Rick Martin.
Yes, sir.
Where are you, Rick? Birthdays and anniversaries.
Here I am. We have several member birthdays today and some club anniversaries. Let's see, David Lillard. Right here. Dave, how many years, David? It's going to be tough. One. Yeah, all right. Let me do the math. Yeah, James Pegram. Yeah. 18. And James Edwards. Oh, okay. Not coming back. And Blake Hunt. What? Coming back. All right. Anniversary day today. Man, let's see how you are at the math.
Oh, I have no idea. 1, 2, 4, 1.
One. That's it. 21. Way to go. And we have some birthdays today. Mr. Richardson, I know that you are here. And on the 20th of February,
I turned 85.
man, I thought you were only 84, Tom. Happy birthday to you. And on the 23rd, we have Cooper Trotter. Here? No? Oh, I thought I saw Cooper Trotter. All right. Chip Person.
Not here.
Not here. Man, everybody's celebrating their birthdays. And Mike Allen? Man. All right, we had a bunch of birthdays, but they're all out celebrating today.
I think so.
Yeah, and only one anniversary coming up this week, and she's not here, Dorothy Downing. Was a big one too. Anyway, that is, Mr. President, that is it.
Rick, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to call on Kim Dane real quick for a Meals of Hope announcement.
Good morning, Rotarians. We're really excited about our rush event on Saturday for Out of the Garden at C3 Church. We had over 95 Rotarians sign up through the Genius for the 1 to 3 slot. We do have some Rotarians going in the morning slot because they couldn't make the afternoon slot from our club, so that's exciting also. The Simonius Genius closed off on the 26th. So if you went in after that, you cannot sign up because that was their cutoff to see where we were at. But you can come because there are lots of jobs and there are lots of things that the Out of Garden have planned if we get over 100 people. So if your schedule changes and you still want to join us, you're invited. Please come. So I'll send out an email after the meeting today just to give you, a lot of you already know that it's C3 Church. It's 300 Highway 68 in High Point, but I'll just send you that address in case you need it for your GPS. So we're looking forward to seeing you all there, 1 to 3. Be nice if we were all there by about 1:45. Is that when you want us there?
Well, since I'm not really doing that specific piece of it,
Yeah?
I mean, I think that would be appropriate, yeah.
Okay.
15 minutes or so beforehand. I'm not sure how long it takes to get a hairnet on, so.
Okay, great. All right, well, there'll be lots of pictures of us with our hairnets on, you can count on us. All
Everybody
right.
gets a hairnet. There'll be about a dozen or 15 tables that we'll just assemble around. So get there by 1:45, and that'll give you a little bit of time to get situated.
All right, we'll see you all there. Thanks.
We're going to be about, between the morning and the afternoon shift, there'll be about 200 people assembling meals. We're going to do a ton of meals. It could be 80,000, 90,000 meals from this effort. It'll be fantastic. A great event. Gigi, there you are. Will you tell us a little bit about district conference?
Thank you. I have been volunteered for this job by my friend Mike Conrad over there. I'm here to tell you about the district conference, which is on April 26th, April 26th, the Friday, Saturday the 27th, and Sunday the 28th in Greenville, South Carolina. I've been told to be very specific and say South Carolina. That's Greenville. Now, if you want to know the specific of the conference itself, talk to Mike Conrad. What I'm here to tell you about is how much fun you guys can have in Greenville, South Carolina, because I've been there. And it's one of my favorite towns in South Carolina. But as opposed to talking to the group in general, I have great material here. I'm going to tell you all about it, all the opportunities. But I'm going to have some target audience members, but I've forewarned them. So I'm going to speak to the most difficult group to get to go to these things, parents of young children. They always have an excuse. They cannot do anything because they have to watch the kids and do that. Well, guess what? I've been to Greenville. It's a great family place. And I'm sorry to my friend Chris Hill over here. There are recreation parks, there are pools, they have stuff for kids to do, ice cream shops, fudge shops. Here you go, Chris. And at the end of the day, there's a spa special for Chris's wife to go to. So there is no excuse. And all the other young parents here, I'm watching you guys. I'm just picking on him, but I'm watching you. The second group of folks that will need help with Greenville is some folks have a tendency to forget important dates like Valentine's Day, birthday, anniversary. Well, this terrific weekend is a way to redeem yourself. Here you go. There's 5 dining options, romantic interlude. All those things that you forgot. And finally, for those of us involved in the hospitality business, Greenville is the poster child of hospitality. So here you are. Next week, I'll target some other members.
Yeah. It's so hard to come up with any announcement after that.
Yeah, don't mention to me.
Yeah.
I can't follow that.
Okay, I won't throw the ball. Justin emailed me and said that he wanted me to make a quick pitch for the Rotary Youth Leadership Program, and that cutoff is coming up soon. If you have a high schooler, especially, it should be a junior or senior, this would be a great opportunity. And like I said, the window's going to close soon. He sent out a link, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. If you don't see it in your inbox, just reach out to him and he will resend it to you for that Rotary. And Matthew, do you have an announcement for us? For a
Good
project?
morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We have nailed down the date, March 30th, Victory Junction Skating Camp. We'll go down there in the morning. They're going to have the deck boards removed. The joists, if they need replaced, will be replaced. There'll be a pile of boards sitting there and a box of screws. It's very easy to do it. All we're going to do is just put decking on the little landing of the zip line, and it's going to be a good day. I'm going to start a sign-up genius probably next week because I really want to have to send a link out 80,000 times to everybody that doesn't get the email. But,
70,000 will be plenty.
You think so?
What's the date again, Matt?
30th.
The 30th, and I'm thinking around 8:30, 9 o'clock, so, and that's all I got. Thank
And
you.
we had thought it might be the week before, but
Yes.
it needs to be the
They
30th.
changed their camp schedule on Tuesday, which is why this moved to 30.
Gotcha. Thank you. And I hope you'll make arrangements for us to test the zip line out while we're there, make sure the landing pad's good.
Yeah.
All right, zip line, gotta love that. Okay. Quick question about tutoring. I sent an email out, and this is very important. This has to do with our youth services and criteria for Golden Club. Is anyone doing any kind of youth tutoring, high school, junior high, reading, help for elementary school at all, or have done that this year?
Judy.
Okay, yes indeed. Let's talk offline. That's fantastic. Yes indeed. I think it's about time for Happy Dog.
Happy dollars! That's what I'm talking about.
I'm excited.
I'll tell you this. I call Matthew every week to see if his phone will ring.
We both.
I called him from Italy when I was in Italy.
So in the, wow, really department, I just found out that my son Austin and his wife Laura are expecting. I'll give more happy dollars.
Yeah, that's right. That's exciting. Hey, I'll just do it. Okay.
Quick update on Rosa and Victoria, some things going on with them. Soccer season, you're probably going to hear Chris and I going back and forth a bit in the weeks ahead. But Victoria's a freshman, Rosa is a junior, and they've played soccer since they were 4. And so Victoria is captain of the junior varsity team, but she was one of 3 freshmen that were invited to kind of double roster and get to play. And so the kickoff to high school is this jamboree event. Only varsity teams go. Victoria was invited to do that. And so they actually, for the first time after all these years, were like playing together. And someone said, well, were they actually on the field at the same time? And I said, you know, I don't even remember. What I remember is Rosa walking off the field and walking over to the bench and scooching next to her sister, and their backs were to me. For the first time after all these years, and someone was like, well, did you get a picture? I was like, no. But it was definitely an aha moment for me. So very excited. Victoria's very excited about that. So yeah, it's going to be a fun to watch them. I think Victoria will get to play 3 or 4 times on the varsity team over the next 6 weeks, I think it is, or whatever. And then Rosa is still very knee-deep in school and her IB path, and has taken to Drexel. She's very fond of that school and came to me and said, can you apply for this? They have a concentration camp you can go to in your specific, let me rephrase that. Stop it, behavior. You can go study in your specific concentration there in the summer for a week. And they take 16 applicants per subject, I use that word. And she got her acceptance letter yesterday, so we're very excited about that.
So I figure I better give $1 here since I have found an airplane to buy. And it's not a done deal yet, but in a couple of weeks, if it is, I understand I won't have $1 to give. We're happy dollars. It's going to be checked out next week. It's a Piper Warrior, it's 1974. So we'll see.
That's a good one.
Dr. Romano.
So this is a 10 for Howard. He rescued my ski jacket, which I left. It's a Gore-Tex jacket, so it's worth more than $10. These are for Chip. I failed to notify that I wanted to kick off the fundraiser today, so he cut me right out of the routine here in the beginning. First of all, Mike, Gigi is on my team. Quit stealing. Second of all, I've started handing out the materials. We've got sponsor packets. I'm going to send out a letter, like a form letter. I'm going to write out what I'm going to ask my sponsors, and if you want to cut it, put it on your letterhead, however you want to do it. We're going to have it where sponsors are really how we raise money, right? The tickets fill the gaps, they pay for the food, they pay for the location, the sponsors of the fundraiser. Our goal is $70,000. We have 70 members, that's $1,000 a member. Some people will raise more, some people will raise less. Everybody puts out their best effort, we'll hit our goal, and we will start our scholarship probably in the next year or two, right? So this is 20 years of effort coming to fruition, and we get to watch it happen. How great is that? Right? So if everybody gives a little kick, we'll get there. We got 10 weeks. Plenty enough time to get there. Okay? So, sorry, Chad.
All good, guy. And don't give him a scare by waiting 3 or 4 weeks out to start on this.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be letting everybody know where we are.
All right, being that Gail brought it up, so the Page soccer team posted this really cute, picture of their team doing yoga together.
I wasn't gonna go there.
All right, so our girls saw that and mentioned it to the coach, and so the coach responded on Twitter and tagged the Page team and said that our girls on Friday were training with the Marines, which is true.
Well, Grandpappy Lewis was, he said that he had heard that to sort of counter some of their bad publicity, that Starbucks was going to start putting religious phrases on their cups. He said the first one was going to go, Jesus, this coffee's expensive.
Well, good morning, D3 Rotarians. The last time we had this guest talk with us, we were in Green Valley Grill, which was really not the best place to hear about this exciting venue. As most of you know, I'm kind of a car guy. I use every opportunity to drive my little Z fast and legally, at least, on the track. Our guest today is Kerrigan Smith, who is the President and Chief Operating Officer of VIR. I'll give you some highlights from his bio here. He began his career in motorsports in 2002. In 2002 and 2004, he started as a fueler and mechanic, becoming a shop director for G&W's successor, Synergy Racing. And 2005, 2006, they were the 2005 Rolex GT champions, so he leads a good team, this guy. He converted 13 street cars to racing cars for professional and amateur competition. And he ended his career as Synergy as a general manager in 2008. 2010, he joined VIR as Chief Operating Officer. And any of you, how many people out here have been to VIR? Fantastic place. Okay. Anyway, there's been lots of improvements up there. I'm sure we're going to hear all about it from Kerrigan. And please welcome Kerrigan Smith.
Thank you. This is a really fun room. It's already been highly entertaining this morning, so I'm enjoying myself thoroughly. So thank you so much for having me. I live here in Greensboro, North Carolina, so this was a really nice commute for me this morning. Normally, it's an hour commute to VIR every day, but this is really nice to talk to you guys. So thank you so much for being here. I thought it's really hard to kind of explain what VIR is to so many people. A lot of times when people think racetracks, they think an oval track, concrete, and a lot of aluminum bleachers. So I thought we would start out. We're going to take a little spin in this car here, just real quick. I'm glad Kelly Harrell is here. This is him driving, and he currently holds the track record here at VIR. So let's see if I can get this thing to play. So this is the front straightaway here. It's not really straight, as you can see, but he's getting to 160 miles an hour probably right here into the braking zone. This is the turn radius of a 1955 Mercedes back in the day when they built the track. Going up into turn 2 and turn 3. You see his head pulling out, lots of G-forces going in. Late braking into turn 4 here. And then we get into what we call the snake, because it eats a lot of vipers. As he's going ahead and heading on up, we're going to go up to the uphill S's. It's a section of VIR that doesn't just quite look like it would work, but he's going up through these turns at about 140 miles an hour. Still accelerating, all blind. Large compression here as he gets down in, coming up into the Oak Tree turn, double apex. Slowest turn on the track at probably 40 miles an hour. Now he's off to the back straightaway, 4,000 feet, back straightaway, really good time to relax, talk to the team, the mirrors, take a little, you can get a little button for the drink. Topping out at probably 190 miles an hour into the braking zone. As quick as he can now, plummets all the way down to the downhill S's. Lots of elevation of the track again. Had to slow down because of the slower traffic there, because he didn't want to throw it away since it's a practice time. But the cruising rate of speeds is pretty amazing. So, thank you, Kelly. That was well. Still sweat. So that kind of gives you an idea of a lot of what goes on just on the track itself. So these guys are defying the laws of physics. If you've ever been up to the, in August, come to see the Michelin GT Challenge with us on that weekend, which I know a couple of you have. So, and you know, Jim's a great supporter, and Walt's been up there. You guys have done a lot. It's exciting to see this, the factory teams and the effort that happens. But saying that VIR is just a racetrack is sometimes kind of misleading, because we do so much. You know, I kind of always joke, you know, VIR was built at a time before engineers or lawyers were really kind of taken over in productions of things with motorsports. So it was built in a very exciting time, 1957, you know, and it was a golden era. A lot of tracks were coming online. We, being centralized in the Mid-Atlantic where we are, we touch a lot. We service a lot of people. There is, you know, people come from far because we're a destination track. Because we have hotels and restaurants, people never have to leave. They can always stay with us. Works really well. We do a lot of military training up there, so it's always nice to keep those guys kind of confined and on the property. Another thing that we do is team building and corporate retreats. Just because we have so many things set up, we have a lot of people that come up just to have the experience. You know, the kart track in and of itself, if you want to go up there and play, is much like the track that you just saw that race car going around. Lots of elevation. It's not just a flat concrete thing. But I will tell you, if you're coming up and feeling like you're really strong and really good, just do 15 minutes on one of those, and you will be very humbled and very grounded very quickly. It's very aggressive. The shooting ranges that we have for a lot of our corporate retreat groups that come up, you know, it's pretty amazing when people get to go have the fully automatic, you know, machine gun experience. Not a lot of people get to have that. We also have a 1,000-yard sniper range with a 3-story sniper tower. So it's really kind of neat when you get to take that shot at 1,000 yards out. You know, studying curvature of the earth and wind speeds and different things. When you nail it, it's really good. I had to cheat, just a little sidebar. I didn't go do that. It was really nice. They had a 50 cal machine gun up there one day, and they invited me. It was one of those things you call in the Kerrigan, we need you to come on out and take a look at something on range 4. I said, all right, then we'll come check it. So there was a car 800 feet off in the distance, and they're like, yeah, let's go. We're going to shoot that. I said, how am I going to hit this thing? You know, with a fully automatic machine gun, just walk it in. Walk it in? Yeah, just pull the trigger and watch the dirt explode, and then you get right over it. You know, and it was, I think they had to remove my hands off the, I was like, this is so fun. So, I got flagged for a couple different things off of that. But, we also do some technical, because of all the military training we do up there, it's not regular. It's a lot of the clandestine services with the FBI, CIA, SEAL, and Special Forces. So we get to do a couple of things sometimes with our autocross is gets to be a little bit more of close proximity driving, the training that they do. So it's really fun for people to get into cars that don't have mirrors, because you're driving that close to each other. Mirrors just would not last very long. So it really is an amazing experience to get in those cars and somebody's yelling in your ear in a radio and telling you where to go and what to do, and you just try not to crash each other out. I'm not doing it justice, but it is one of those things where you go do it, there will be lots of high fives afterwards and people jumping around. The off-road package that they do, we're on 1,300 acres, so a lot of ours is very, very, you can almost see the elevation of the racetrack, so a lot of it is varying terrain, which they use a lot. A really neat team building exercise that's really neat to kind of see is what they call recovery, where you essentially drive your vehicle into the worst situation you can, get horribly stuck, and you work as a team to figure out how to use your natural resources and what you have around there to get the vehicle out. Again, very impressive when you see highly trained professionals doing it, sometimes entertaining when you see people like myself doing it. Pit crew challenge, obviously, you know, you get to kind of come up. It was something I kind of started with my background in motorsports. That used to be my job, was training the pit crews, how to get faster, how to get more effective. So, you know, why not let other people try to do that as a team? And then something that's brand new, it's called Formula Experience. A gentleman from North Carolina went ahead and made a major investment to get a whole bunch of these Radical sports cars, and Radical is the maker of them. And you can now go buy a seat in these cars or come out and have an experience, and they'll work with you, and then you drive a downforce car around VIR. And it's wonderful because it's not yours, you don't own it, and you go ahead and you run it, and then you walk away. Yeah, hopefully you're walking away. So, but that's really something neat that has kind of come online, and they have really been growing and doing a lot with it. And it is one of those experiences that you really don't quite understand the forces that your body goes through, and how giddy and excited you can, or how scared you can get when you get yourself into a situation. As I said, a lot of the shooting ranges, a lot of what we do, we have two 50-yard ranges, a 100-yard range, a 360-degree driving shooting range, which we don't do a whole lot of experiences in there. And then we have a whole tactical facility, so if people are coming up with paint guns or doing sim rounds, you can do the whole thing of clearing houses and getting through. And then our accommodations at VIR, they kind of range to a couple different things. We have the really, really high-end villas, and then we've got some very nice lodges. You know, it's kind of always the joke, you know, if you're bringing the wife, you're staying at the villa. If you're bringing the girlfriend, you stay at the lodge. And then we've got the pit lane rooms down in the paddock. So really neat that you have 3 different varying places to stay, and we've got about, I think 60, it probably says right there, and I'm too dumb to figure it out, 62 rooms that they have that we can choose from, so you really don't have to leave VIR in some of the events. Jim's already excited because I think he's got his lodging already locked in for one of the events. They go very quickly. Then another thing that we do with a bunch of our meeting spaces is we do a lot of different, you know, people come in and we'll have just the setups like we have here today, where you can go ahead and have a banquet, and you know, nothing to the scale of the Grand over here. You know, we're always looking up to Kelly and what he's doing, but it's really neat when somebody can come out. And it always amazes me that somebody always wants to get married at a racetrack. And you really try to sit down with the bride and you say, you understand that this is a racetrack. You understand that there is noise here on a regular basis. She understands until the vows are being said. Can they quiet that down? But it's very scenic and a very neat place to do it. I'm also going to show one other video, because one other thing that people don't really understand is because of VIR's remote nature and where we are the benchmark, the test and development track for manufacturers. So everything with the Corvette, the new Z06 and Corvette, all their development happens up there at VIR. And Ford, Toyota, Subaru, you might see some of this stuff coming out. Car and Driver does a big feature at VIR. And it's amazing, just an hour away, this is one of the most, you know, sought after areas for testing, because we can shut down the facility nobody can get in. And it's even kind of funny, sometimes they will hire some of the special forces guy they're training up there to run through the woods looking for photographers. Unfortunately, they never found one, so I don't know what happens when they get one. But you know, it is that industry of protecting the new cars coming out. You would not believe. I actually witnessed an armed escort to get a vehicle from one building to the other, and we're talking 500 yards. And it just, you're just sitting there just going, okay, do whatever you gotta do. But it is that extreme. Planes fly over, they have things that they duck, they have areas that they duck into. So it's quite impressive. But one of our big partners that works with us on a lot of development is Michelin and Corvette, and they kind of just put together a fun little thing where they were making, let's see if I can get this thing.
This place for me is special to come here. It's been a great place for me personally. In my racing career, it's been good for this team with 2 wins the last 2 years for the 3-car. It's fun for us to come here as a GT-only event. The fans here are awesome. It's a smaller venue in some sense, but everyone's camping, everyone's having a great time. It's a little bit hot right now, so it'll be cooler. VIR is a challenge for us as a driver, as a team. We're set up well for that. You add in some high heat, maybe some rain, so it should be fun.
Car's pretty good. I still have a little bit of mid-quarter under here. Watch the mix. Roger that, Tommy, but we're pretty busy in here right now. Why don't you stay out for about 2 more laps, get those tires, and come on in. Okay, roger that. All right, ready. We got about 3 minutes to get this ice cream.
Fantastic job by everyone today. Really, the fact that we're able to do that double stint on the tyres at the end of the race allowed us to, play with the strategy. The hard work the BMW and Rayhan guys have been putting in. Couldn't be happier to get the first win for the M8.
So the 2 people they were talking that they were kind of featuring, one was Doug Feehan, who is the director for Corvette Racing, and then if you ever heard of Pratt and Miller, that was Mr. Pratt sitting next to him. So kind of big people, but it's kind of in closing and kind of setting this up, just to open up the questions. I know you guys have jobs that you have to go to here soon. Paul Newman just gave us a really nice compliment a few years ago, just saying if there's a heaven on earth, it's VIR, and this is just kind of an aerial view that just kind of shows how expansive VIR is in the 1,300 acres as we move around. Also heard you guys talking about Victory Junction. So I put some cards out, given our list of different events that we have. One that's coming up on Good Friday. We do a event with Victory Junction to where you can come out and drive your car on the track for $25. It all goes to Victory Junction, goes to the kids. Last year we put 6 kids into camp. It is something that we've been doing with them for quite a while. It's a lot of fun. We do that in the spring with Victory Junction, and then we do it with the Salvation Army in closer to Christmas. Usually, hopefully people are donating, not donating a car, but every now and then it always amazes me. Somebody will come up there and end up donating a car to one of our turns, and usually it's it's one of those to where they're trying to figure out how they're going to explain this to somebody. But if you get a chance, that's one of those really fun events to come up, because you don't have to have a driver's license or a racing license to do that. We put you behind a pace car. It's a controlled environment. You can take your truck out there. You can take the minivan out there. You can take the kids out there as long as they're strapped in, and just clean the golf clubs out and the different things out of the back of the car, because you could have a lot of stuff flying around and it could get pretty interesting after a while. But I just throw that out there. But I don't want to keep you any longer. I really thank you for letting me just come explain. Is there any questions about VIR or anything you have? Kelly?
Yeah, Kerrigan, will you just talk about the guest experience or the visitor experience down in the paddocks? Because that's what I think people find so interesting, is that they can go right into.
Thank you. And that's a very two things to really expand on that. See, Kelly's daughter is a real big Ferrari. She's a Ferrari girl. Okay, so Dad, let's go down and let's go look at these cars. And we race in the rain, so when you come out, it's happening. Okay, regardless, lightning is one of those different things, but rain or shine, it's racing. And the thing about this type of sports car racing, you can go down into the paddock and you can touch the drivers, you can touch the cars. When you buy a ticket, you don't buy a ticket to a seat, you're buying a ticket to access to the whole property. Just don't jump a fence or try to go into the race haulers. I mean, you can try, they'll kick you out, but that's the kind of access that you have in walking around. And I think, you know, I think last time you and Jess came up for the Pirelli World Challenge, it was just, they were just there, just, you know, just being inside of it. It really is a special feeling, and especially when our races are live with NBC. So the August race is live on NBC. When the helicopter is coming down and getting the shots and panning out and doing everything, you really feel like you're a part of something. It's truly amazing. Yes, Jim?
I just want to add that this is probably one of the most fan-friendly race courses anywhere, because there are so many good places to watch the race.
Yeah.
Tree Corner is one of my favorites, because you can see them coming up the S's.
Yeah.
But and as you said, you can get so close to the pits.
Yeah.
You can really see what's happening.
Yeah, and the you know, and we're also one of those people that you know, bring your barbecue, bring your cooler, you know, park your pickup truck somewhere and just hang on out and kind of have fun. And it's kid friendly. Kids 16 and under get in for free. Also with the extent of what we do with our military, active military gets in for free. Veterans, thank you all veterans out there, you get in 50% off. And that is something we take very seriously, and one of the only tracks that does that. So it's something we really try to do. Yes, sir?
Yeah. What's the cost for this 1 or 2 day formula driving experience?
Go online. I think his price has fluctuated a couple different times, but I want to say, depending on the height of where you are, it can be anywhere from $500 to $1,500, depending on the different things you put into it. He also has some simulators there in his building that you can go and get kind of oriented, you know, just through actually a video game type scenario. And then he has coaches and people there talking and working with you, and they have a safety meeting in the morning and work through it. But it's really, there's a lot of this in Europe, but nobody has done this in the United States. So it was very I mean, he lost a lot of money in the first year, but he felt like he had enough energy and enough things going that he's pushing on with it, and it's starting to build now a little bit. So it really is kind of neat to see what he's doing. So I can make it up. Yes, sir?
Can I suggest that in your warm-up for the trip up to VIR that you take the BMW driving experience at District Conference?
Yes.
And BMW was on our podium last year, first and third place. So
there you go.
There you go.
Where do you think they learned it?
Yeah, where do you think they learned it? Yes, sir.
Have you seen the center engine Corvettes testing out at VIR?
Yes, I have. It's yes, and I will tell you, it is a very unbelievably cool looking car. I wasn't quite sure of what it would be, but anybody that knows the Corvette has a very big front engine car. Their racing program, they're going to a center engine car. With a lot of that has to do with rotating mass and trying to get your CGs, the center of gravity, and a lot of things down on the car when they're working it. So it really is kind of unique looking. I hope they can put it out pretty soon. But that was one of those days where we were shut down, non-essential personnel only, and you just didn't walk out, because they see anybody walking out on a balcony somewhere, they've got spotters all over the place, and it's just crazy. I mean, it's just nuts.
You know, a sniper tower?
Yeah. Yeah. I try to hang out there as much as I can because it's better than being anywhere else. Because at least you're up there with those guys, and it is pretty impressive. I will tell you, it makes you very proud to be an American when these guys are there training, and they have a not so politically correct target sitting in a car 800 feet away, and these guys are up there and they take one shot through windshield with wind and whatever, and it's very impressive that they are consistently hitting their mark every time. So I don't know, it's very inspiring, makes me feel very patriotic, and especially I love that you guys do the Pledge of Allegiance and everything in the morning. That's a dying art, so I'm very happy to see that. We really appreciate that.
Kerrigan?
Yes, sir.
Real quick, do you all do motorcycle racing too?
We do. If it has wheels, we're racing it. Kind of one of those things. Now we're getting into the electric cars, a whole different thing. But yes, motorcycles, we do a lot of motorcycle racing. In May, we have the Moto America professional motorcycle races. That's a whole different kind of crazy when you see that going on. These guys are racing on a patch of tire like this, doing speeds that cars are doing without the roll cage, without all the safety technology, and they are really pushing the limits of what's happening. If you are not into motorsports, I just would challenge you to come watch a motorcycle race, because you will be squeamish. You just can't believe what these guys are doing, and it's a very visceral feeling, when you see the energy that's being expended into the body. The crashes are always very, almost depressing sometimes when you see it, just because you see ragdoll, type things when people are flying around. It's another really quick thing. We use a Nissan GTR in launch control on the motorcycle races because we have to put a doctor in the passenger seat, because usually the crashes are so big on the start of the race because they're on launch control. They had 3 people die 2 years ago in California just on a start. So we always have a doctor there in launch control, and it's amazing that a souped up GTR in our mode in launch control can barely keep up with these motorcycles as they're pulling out of the gate. So it has to follow one lap around, and quite a few times they've stopped, and thankfully the doctor's been there to be able to take care of somebody immediately. But those are the days that make me sweat a little bit more than others. Anything else I can help anybody with? Hopefully I've covered it all and didn't put anybody to sleep too quickly. Yes, sir.
Did you rent the track for a day?
We're a landlord. So we rent the track out to people all the time. That is what we do. We have different groups and clubs. Great question. Sorry I didn't clarify. We're rented out daily. I mean, seriously, we're rented out almost every day. And we have Porsche Club, Audi Club. The Tar Heel BMW chapter comes out, SCCA, NASA, all these different groups come and they rent the track, and we provide the services, and we have the EMS, fire responders, we have our corner worker communications, maintenance and all that. So we pretty much give you the support that you need to go ahead and put on the event that you want. So that's kind of what we do. So, never dull moment. Thank you so much, really appreciate it.